Did you know India and the United States, two of the world's biggest democracies, weren't always friends? In fact, during the Cold War, they were practically on opposite sides. The US allied with India's rival Pakistan, while India moved closer to the Soviet Union. But fast forward to today, and you see Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden shaking hands, signing billion-dollar deals, and joining forces to tackle global challenges. So what changed? What caused two distant nations to become partners, shaping the world's future? This is the story of India-US relations, their rocky history, surprising transformations, and the exciting future ahead. Stay tuned, because we're about to uncover some surprising facts you might not know. Let's rewind to 1947. India gained independence after 200 years of British rule. The world was divided, the United States on one side, the Soviet Union on the other. Everyone wanted India to pick a side. But India, under Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, said, "No, we will not align ourselves with anyone." India chose a path of non-alignment, focusing on its own development. The US didn't like this. They saw India as a potential ally against the Soviet Union, but India wanted to remain neutral. Then came Pakistan, India's neighbor and rival, and the US found a new friend in the region. By the 1950s, Pakistan had joined US-led alliances like SEATO and CENTO, receiving billions in military aid. Meanwhile, India leaned toward the USSR, not because it loved communism, but because it needed weapons, support, and a counterbalance to US-Pakistan relations. Did you know? In 1971, during the Bangladesh Liberation War, the US sent its 7th Fleet toward India as a show of support for Pakistan. India, backed by the Soviet Union, didn't back down. Fast forward to 1991. The Soviet Union collapsed and India's economy was in trouble. That's when India opened its doors to liberalization, inviting trade and investments from around the world, including the United States. But the relationship hit a major roadblock in 1998. India conducted nuclear tests under Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The US imposed strict sanctions, calling it a threat to global security. However, something surprising happened. Instead of breaking ties, both nations started talking. By the early 2000s, President George W. Bush and Indian leaders realized they had more to gain as friends than as adversaries. In 2005, India and the US signed a historic civil nuclear deal. This agreement marked a turning point, symbolizing trust and mutual respect between the two nations. As the world entered the 21st century, new challenges emerged. One word changed everything: China. Both India and the US saw China's rapid rise as a challenge to global stability. This brought the two nations closer. Today, they are key players in the Quad Alliance, a strategic partnership between the US, India, Japan, and Australia, aimed at keeping the Indo-Pacific region free and open. India and the US conduct over 60 joint military exercises annually, including Malabar, one of the largest naval exercises in the world. Beyond defense, trade and technology are driving India-US relations. Today, the US is India's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade crossing $120 billion annually. But it's not just about numbers. India is becoming a hub for US tech giants like Google, Microsoft, and Apple, while Indian startups are attracting billions in investments from Silicon Valley. Did you know? The CEOs of Google, Microsoft, and IBM are all of Indian origin, showcasing India's rising influence in the tech world. Looking ahead, the future is promising. The US views India as a counterweight to China, a key partner for climate change initiatives, and a market of 1.4 billion people. Meanwhile, India sees the US as a source of technology, investment, and global influence. But here's the question: will this partnership grow stronger, or will differences in policies and priorities hold it back? From Cold War tensions to strategic partners, India and the US have come a long way. They're not just allies, they're two democracies shaping the future of global power. So what do you think? Will India and the US continue to grow closer, or will challenges arise? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global stories that matter. India and the US, from rivals to partners. What comes next?